What's going on, guys? This is Gelsh. Welcome to Valheim. This view is amazing. Game's pretty great too. In this video, I want to showcase a Longhouse that I created and show some of the trials and tribulations that came with this endeavor. I think I did a pretty good job. And the video might shine some light on how to use support structures, beams, poles, etc. to construct buildings that are longer, larger, taller than normal. I apologize if some of the clips from this video have me talking with my friends. Some of the clips were taken from my stream the other day, so hope you guys enjoy, and see you in the next one. So the first step was to clear as much land as possible. Obviously, the beginning of any structure is to flatten out the land, clear it of grass, stones, trees, etc. So that's what I was doing here. Nothing too crazy. It is a little bit of a pain to kind of get the ground as level as possible, but it doesn't need to be perfect. At the end of the day, as long as you get the floor laid, you could always dig up the tile, take the ground floor out, and use the pick to kind of clear up any protruding land. But that's what I'm doing here. I believe it's 7 long right now. I end up making it 8, but that's the general gist of it. Pretty simple. The storm hit at a pretty inopportune time, but as you can see, I'm pretty much finishing up the groundwork here. Had to mine a few corners out just to make sure it was level and not looking like crap. But with that piece, it should be pretty much finished. And next here, I'm going to be starting on the front door, the sides, and from there you'll see how we expand up. The annoying thing about the storms is it damages everything that's not roof. So in the middle of this, I think 3 or 4 times I had to just stop and repair everything and fix my hammer because that broke. Real pain in the butt. So for this next piece, I needed to start laying the outside foundation to make room for the walls and what would end up being the ability to expand up. I used the log beams for this to give it kind of like a log cabin-esque look. As far as I can tell, the game doesn't have log cabin walls. All it has are the support beams, but not only does it do a really good job of supporting all the weight above it, it looks pretty cool once you put the wood walls over it. So I'm probably going to speed up this next bit right here and just show you guys the framework and how it ended up looking. But get the general gist of it. I was using the 4-meter log beams wide and up, and throwing on the 2-meter log beam on top of some of the 4-meter log beams just to kind of add some space and not cramp things up too much. And as you'll see, the walls kind of fit perfectly within them. So one thing that I forgot to mention is that you unlock these log beams through chopping down pine trees. Pine trees can be chopped down with the bronze axe or better. Pine trees are the really tall ones that are found in the Black Forest. Can't really miss them, skinny and tall. And they're really useful. Obviously, these beams go up to 4 meters long, which is higher than the regular wooden beams. So it's worthwhile, especially if you want to use it as foundation. It's pretty much what most people are using them for. Yeah, so this building ends up being the Hall of Portals, as we call it. It's the place where we're storing all of our portals. And portals, if you don't know, you can open them up, place them at one location, and then close it at another. And basically what you can do is travel between them whenever you want. It's really useful because this map is very big. So having portals to different locations that you've discovered that you want to get back to really quickly can be really helpful. So we're pretty much finishing up the outer perimeter of the foundation. As you can see, it's wrapping up here. Then we're going to start putting the walls on. So I want to know what you guys think about this game. Do you like it? Do you love it? I definitely love it. It feels like a hybrid cross of something like Minecraft and Rust. 2 games that I never really got into, but I'm really hooked with this game. It's awesome. It's very fulfilling to kind of build stuff up and, you know, troubleshoot and problem solve and find ways to make things work. because there definitely are a lot of issues. You need to be pretty technically precise when it comes to providing enough foundation for the big buildings, as I'm trying to do here. So I used the log beams and I went up and across, connecting everything to the foundation. And as far as I can tell at this point, you need to connect the foundation to the ground for it to provide any sort of stable support. More so, you might need to build all the way up to the ceiling. You can get away with smaller buildings and kind of just throwing walls on top of each other than linking the roof across. But once you get into the zone where your structures are highlighting red, you're really running out of support and you got to start thinking about using these beams. And it's better to do it earlier than later because it's very frustrating to complete or almost complete what you think is a strong functional building and then the roof just caves in. So I finished off the walls. I used little half walls to create those sunlight windows. And here I'm just creating the rest of the support that's going to end up supporting the first, second floor and the roof. Kind of had to create a little beam to hop on and do a lot of hopping around. Kind of dangerous. Definitely not up to OSHA regulation, but you gotta do what you gotta do. I think it looks pretty sleek at this point. It's looking good. And I'm gonna end up connecting it to the walls and eventually to the roof, which I think was the reason why my whole building didn't come crashing down. Once I was done with that, I made this little crappy makeshift ladder hanging on by a thread, and I made my way up to the front of the building where I used the wood wall 45 degree to kind of create the triangle shape for the front of the building. I'm going to do the same thing in the rear. Then I just used wooden walls to fill in the gaps. Pretty self-explanatory, pretty simple. Now the fun part. Laying the roof was pretty challenging. Definitely wasn't enjoyable considering 3 or 4 storms that came and made me repair my whole entire building over and over again, to include running back and repairing my hammer. In the future I might carry more than one hammer just to save time, but probably not because I'm lazy. But I started laying the thatch 45 degree angle roof, and you see the colors turning red, and I'm checking to make sure that it's not just going to collapse, even though what's going to stop it if it does. I start filling in this second row, and I realized that I'm going to need some extra kind of support. What I have right now is not enough. I kind of saw this coming. Nothing really is high enough to support it. The only thing it's holding on to right now is the front of the building itself and the sides. So I get the idea to keep building up, build these log poles up until they're touching the roof, and that's pretty much what I do. Oh, another storm. What a surprise. This was the issue that I kept running into. Every time I tried to snap this piece of thatch roof, it would just collapse. And I actually had solved the problem without even realizing it to the first 2 rows of thatch roof. If you see that little piece of wood protruding across the pole that's kind of unlike the other ones that I keep highlighting, that was supporting the roof. That was the missing link. And it wasn't until I realized I had put that up and it was working for the first 2 rows that I decided to throw it up for the rest of them. And that's what ends up solving my roof dilemma. And I'm going to show you guys what I was doing just to give you a good idea of what you can do if you run into the same issue. Apologize for the poor in-game lighting for this one and during the storms, but kind of had to keep building regardless of what time of day it was in-game, because the storms didn't discriminate. They would come and destroy everything. So what I ended up doing, as you can see, is not only did I have support beams going all the way up from the ground and all the way across the wall, but they also are further up, linking into the thatch roof as it's approaching the top of its apex. So what that does essentially is provide support for the higher pieces of roof that otherwise would have came crashing down. Pretty much done with the roof at this point. I continued with the support style of the beams going all the way up, all the way across at the base of the roof, and all the way across as the roof was going up. Seemed to work pretty well for a building of this size. Like I said, I haven't really experimented with anything bigger than this yet, but I will do that. And yeah, all that's left really is to show you guys what it ends up looking like. And this is it. The finished Longhouse. As you can see, it is pretty tall. Fairly living up to his name, Longhouse. As I said, we've dubbed it the Hall of Portals because it's holding all of our portals. First one we've constructed so far is to the Elder. The second is to the Merchant. All the rooms follow the same kind of template. Decorated with torches and black banners so far. Second floor. I was kind of not sure if I wanted the second floor or not because I like the idea of the big open ceiling. But I realized a big open ceiling isn't really possible with all the support beams, so made a second floor. Figured there's going to be more than enough portals by the time I've progressed enough through this game with my friends. To fill up all of these rooms, probably need a second floor. So yeah, that's it. That's my build. Hope you guys liked it. Hope you learned something. Any questions, drop them in the comments. And, you know, to be quite honest, this is my first YouTube video ever. So I'd appreciate any feedback. If you guys liked it, drop a like. And you can catch me on Twitch. And I'll see you in the next one. So I don't know, where should the... Okay, yeah, we'll leave it there. What should the, I want to make it like a longhouse. What the
I am the king of the hill.